I will say the topic which is not discussed, which is not about thought of, how the IQ and ESG is connected together and how this is a pillar of sustainability which is often neglected. So when we talk about most of the things, or there's a common statement, you can't control what you don't know, and then how it keeps affecting you until you don't know when the bigger damages has been happened. So when we say about IAQ, it's not only about for the people, but it's also for the processes and the equipment which is inside any facility. So mostly we see it because the people respond to this immediately, where we start with maybe coughing, sneezing, another thing, or headache, or other, I will say, symptoms of what people immediately get affected. But then it also affects the processes, the equipment inside the indoor spaces, which are also more critical. And then how it can be avoided and how we can get a comprehensive strategic IEQ plan to protect human as well as the assets and the process what we are doing it inside the facilities. So when we talk about the particles or the PM levels that are more visible or more dangerous, and there are also other contaminants, which is specifically the molecular one, which are at very tiny levels than the particles in a molecular sizes, not easily visible. Some don't have even odor also, but then they keep affecting the occupants or the processes inside the facilities. So when we talk about ESG, it's not only about the energy efficiency, energy saving, or reducing the carbon emissions, but even how we can work with the filtration solutions which can reduces the energy consumption. Like Mr. Anil was explaining about you always have better options available, and don't just focus on the initial cost of the filters, but even the total cost of the ownership, what is going to be paid in terms of hidden costs like energy consumption or the electricity cost. Then, on terms of social part, like how we can protect our workforce, like the human capital, how their productivity can be improved, how their wellness can be taken care. And in terms of governance, like the transparent monitoring and display of the IAQ levels inside the facilities. Then also it is complying to the local norms and the national norms in terms of emissions, what we are doing. And then sharing these reports with the shareholders that showing that we are not only just monitoring, but we are also maintaining this. And this gives a good picture as a governance perspective for any organization. So as we move forward into discussions, the three tiers specifically into the filtrations is we see the particle filtration where mostly coming from the dust particles or the agricultural waste, pollen, and from the humans and pets, which will be coming. Then the molecular filtration is required to remove the gases, specifically from the vehicular pollution, from the nearby facilities or the industries, as well as some biodegradation happening naturally around the ambient, which will be also adding to the gases. And then the viruses and bacteria, which is again into certain processes, we need to focus on ultrafine particles where we not only the dust, but even the virus bacteria can affect the performance as well as the processes inside the facilities. So I will quickly run through this because as we already spoke about how it is uh, entering the body parts or other thing, and as Anilji mentioned, it is impacting on the reproduction system also, and it's already been researched and shared even into the fertility clinics and other applications. The pollution also affects the results of that processes. So efficiency again, this I will say graphical representation on how the different models with the different efficiencies and different pressure drops will be helping you to save more. Then the HEPA filters, which is required for certain processes like into precision manufacturing or clean rooms. and then even for the healthcare facilities where we see the threat of infection control. So the molecular filtration works in a different perspective where we are talking about the gaseous molecules which are not visible on an immediate basis and they keep silently attacking the control rooms or the electronics and other things. Also, it has a different technology to remove, which can be removed by adsorption or chemi-absorption, which needs a different type of filters than the regular pre and fine filters. And then it is applicable again in pharma or power plants, or even in some cases we are seen into even indoor air quality and data centers, which are the large applications for this type of filters. So when we talk about the trade-off, which is against efficiency and sustainability, as Anilji was mentioning about the fan energy and the filter cost, or what is a sustainable choice that is which is having the lowest pressure drop as well as the longer life. So this help us to select the product in a right manner where we want to invest less in buying a cheaper product or where we want to save more by buying a good product in terms of energy cost as well as the effect on the downstream applications, downstream equipments inside the facilities with the wrong selection or with a lower quality or grade of the filters. So, as we mentioned, instead of again, in some cases, we recommend to replace the filter before reaching the recommended pressure drops again to avoid any damage or breakdown to happen. Also, when we operate the filters at a higher pressure drop, it is again consuming more energy. So this can also help us to reduce the energy consumption. And then end of the day, you will be saving very high amount of money, which is on the energy part compared to the cost of the filters, which is not even 10% of the total cost. So in terms of roadmaps, what we can see that a baseline and audit whether to measure the current IAQ and current energy consumptions to make a starting point, then make a threat analysis where are the particular specific areas and what are the particular contaminants what we are seeing, and then also analyze the risk to the people, the process, and the equipments because of this type of pollutants or the specific issues what we will be facing inside. Strategies again. I will strongly recommend to hire an expert or discuss with the filter manufacturers to understand what is the right selection of the filters instead of just going by on I have been using this throughout my career. I have been using or I have seen people using this. That may not be the right methodology. We need to select the filters based on each and every application, based on every each and every location separately. So based on the initial audit report and the threat analysis, we can select the different grades what we need, whether we need only particular or molecular filtrations to be also implemented. Then installing the solutions in the right manner and keeping a close watch on the change schedule for the performance and energy efficiency, maintaining that right balance between the initial cost and operation cost. Then continuous monitoring whether the desired results, what was strategized, has been obtained or not. Monitor the data and track the real time with the good quality monitors. Then verify and document the improvement, the energy savings, and that can be reported as a ESG achievement. And then we will start again for the next level of upgradation with the continuous changes in the technology or the changes in the conditions. This has to be repeated. It's not like that once we've done it, it has been achieved because the ambient conditions, the surroundings keep changing. Today, you don't have any neighbor. Tomorrow, you might be having a neighbor which is an industry or a chemical plant, or there might be a construction one happening, or there might be a metro work happening, which will be impacting again the outdoor conditions and directly impacting the indoor conditions. So when we talk about ESG, it should not be what we thought about, but it can be as a energy, health, and the risk in terms of that. So that filters should not be considered as commodities. They are the strategic investment for the ESG perspective. And then some questions which I would like to be added over here, where how we can work upon the media. Like we know about the media, which are the lower pressure drop and other thing. But again, there are certain challenges still the industry is facing about the recycling or reducing the carbon footprint or making it biodegradable to avoid the waste generation through the filters. Again, sensor technologies which can be enabled, which can help on the reporting purpose instead of collecting it manually and processing it again. Then how low we can go in terms of energy consumptions and a higher, longer life so that it becomes more sustainable. Then reducing on or finding the alternatives for the adhesives or the plastics what we are using in the products. And then how we can play a collaborative role in setting the global ESGs aligned with the IQ standards so that the occupants or the processes inside will be protected as well as can be reported in terms of ESG report. For the business leaders, again, are you considering or are you reporting the IAQ as a part of your disclosures? And do you see the OPEX cost or as a strategic ESG investment for the filtration or the IAQ solutions? So that's it from my side. Thank you.